What's good? Game on, Wisconsin. Welcome back to Coast Packers. I'm your boy, Bernie Bango, here with my PIC, Amar Desai. How you doing tonight, man?
I'm good, baby. I'm good, man. I'm just, not too happy about the loss. I've been literally fighting Lions fans all yesterday and today and the
Huh.
Twitterverse. And yeah, man, like it's just it's one of those things where, you know, I'm just trying to be positive, which is
Yeah.
hard to do when you watch a game like that. And you know how it is, bro. Like I saw on the map for you, right? Like you guys didn't even have the game, I don't think,
Yeah.
right?
I streamed it, man.
Yeah.
I watched it.
Okay, good. I was gonna say because like everybody else in the nation had it, so all my folks that know me saw this game on TV. So I was just getting like just bombarded by messages and calls and just stupid stuff like, "Oh man, that was a tough game," or blah blah blah, or the Packers suck and this and that, whatever. And it's like, oh my gosh, like there's all these casual fans that don't watch football like we do, and I'm just like, dude, like get out of here, man. Like, okay, fine. You know what? Fine. You know what? Karma. That's fine. Talk your shit. Talk your shit now.
Yeah.
So down the road, if things turn around for us, I don't want to hear it. All right. So, but yeah, I'm good, man. I'm just ready to get into this bye week and just decompress and self scout myself.
Yeah. I feel you, man. I was pacing around the house and I usually don't get like that frustrated, but when we just beat ourselves, it gets frustrating, man.
100%.
Especially when this was the first game the Lions have played outdoors this year. All their away games have been in domes, and of course, all their home games are on the dome. So I thought this weather is gonna play into our favor, but we looked like the team that hadn't played outdoors all year. That's all I got to say about it right now because we got a whole show to get to. And before we do, I just want to remind you go check out Tundra Town Clothing Company, our official sponsor. I'm rocking one of their Green Bay football tradition of excellence trucker hats tonight. They have an array of t-shirts that are 100% cotton, locally printed in Green Bay. In a couple of weeks, I'll be rocking the Bear Suck one.
Hell yeah.
For that game for sure. But go check them out at tundratownClothingCo.etsy.com. Use our discount code Game On Wisconsin, Game On We. Save yourself 10% from their whole selection of apparel. All right, man. Week 9 wrap up. Let's go to Halloween night. I thought we were going to see the ghost of Aaron, but we got the resurrection of Rodgers that evening. And he saved they saved the season for the Jets, so they grasp onto hope a little bit longer. What are your feelings about the Jets win there over the Texans?
You know what? It was kind of crazy because like at one point it kind of felt like the Houston Texans were going to pull it off, and they were really banged up weapon wise. And then like it was just like you could just see the tide turning, right? And Rodgers and Adams did start to click, and Garrett Wilson started making highlight catches. CJ Stroud just really hasn't looked the same since like he literally was giving Caleb Williams advice on how to play football. And there was
not a good look.
CJ Stroud or Jordan Love. And then, after that game, people are like, yeah, I think the discussion's over. And then we have our game, and it's like, wait, hold on. Let's hold off on these discussions on either quarterback right now. But you know what? Like, Aaron Rodgers, he did enough to win the game. There's a ongoing thing about him not throwing 300 yards in a game since like 2022 or 2021 or something crazy, and it's still holding on strong. But I mean, hey, look, the Jets have a chance to maybe make the playoffs, but the Bills are running away with that division right now, so the Jets are going to hope for some miracles to happen. So yeah, it was a great game, but it was a fun. To be honest with you, for being a Thursday night game, it was pretty entertaining. And we haven't had one of those in a while, so I liked it.
You can say that again. And the Jets go to Arizona next week, so we'll see.
Another good game. Another good game. Yeah.
And then we might have seen the last few gasps of air from Mike McCarthy's lungs as the Dallas Cowboy. He got banged up or hammy something. It's not looking good for the Cowboys.
It's funny you say that. That game was oh shit. I'm getting a what you call it? Feedback. Okay, it's gone. Good.
Okay.
It was crazy where they said that first it like Dak's throwing hand was swollen. He had like a gash on it, right? Then they're like, oh, his hamstring, he's out for the game. Then it's like, oh, he's out for multiple weeks. That must be a really bad hamstring pull. Or they might just benched him for all I know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you just pay that dude all that money, so we ain't benching him for nothing, right?
Yeah.
But bro, he has not looked good, and the team as a whole hasn't looked great.
Did you see the clip of him of the they were reading his lips and he turned
dude,
like, you fucking suck.
If that's what he said.
I'm like, if that's what he said, that's what they're trying to say, because they're just reading his lips. But
it's like you ever watched that episode back? Like it was like 2-3 years ago. It was like NFL bad lip reading. It was like a YouTube video of like all these like the guy like doing all his lip reading. It really looked like these people are saying that stuff. Like that could have been like a clip for bad lip reading, but it was literally looked like exactly what he said. Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, the Cowboys have a lot of talent. I know they got injuries, but man, they just do not look good. And dropping another game, I'm surprised that McCarthy hasn't got fired yet. Honestly, like Dennis Allen just got fired. I thought McCarthy would be on the chopping block because there's no excuse for that. I'm sorry, like they couldn't get anything going. And Atlanta Falcons are a decent team, but they're not that good. Like I'm sorry, like yeah, it just seems like offensively and defensively, they just don't have anything going on. Even special teams, they were trying to do fake punts and they couldn't get shit.
Oh, dude, I saw that fake punt. It was such trash.
Oh my gosh, bro. Like, what are we doing? Like, you're doing end arounds with CeeDee Lamb? Like, what? Like, when you have Turpin, an all-pro freaking returner on your team, and you got your number one wide receiver, now don't get me wrong, CeeDee Lamb is a beast, and they got the play to work later on in the game. I'm sorry, like I'm not running an end around with a guy who runs like a 4.45. I'm doing an end around with the guy that runs like a 4.3, right? Like that's the logic, right? So yeah, man, I was seeing the Cowboys lose is always fun, but now like I'm almost to a point where I feel bad for them. They go from being one of the best teams in the league last year to this. Yeah, they need a culture change completely all around. Completely.
Yeah, Jerry Jones has got to go, and one of my best buddies, he's a Cowboys fan.
Okay,
and he texted me today, and he's like, I just keep going to ESPN and hitting refresh, trying to see if the Cowboys have made a trade yet.
Sounds like us.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about this
100%,
in a little bit. But then we had the Bills squeak one out against the Dolphins, and it was in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Credit to the Fins, man. But hey, Bills are 7-2. They're 4-0 at home. Josh Allen, it looks like an MVP candidate.
Like I didn't think that it would be that close. I thought Buffalo was going to run away with that game. The fact that Miami was able to come back and make it a game. Again, Buffalo won. I knew they would because they just have Miami's number. But it showed how it was close. And, Devin Achane came back with a vengeance. But, Josh Allen is getting it done. And honestly, Josh Allen was getting it done with not much. Amari Cooper didn't play, and then Keon Coleman missed an easy touchdown that turned into interception. And then he got banged up. So he's out there with Khalil Shakir and literally nobody else. Like, not very many options, right? And so for me, like for them to still squeak that win out. And also, you got Tyler Bass over here kicking like a 61-yarder who I'm telling you again, he's been hit or miss this season too, right? He hasn't hit everything. He hasn't hit chip shots. So for me, like, hey man, like Buffalo has been going through like a retooling this year on defense, and for them to squeak that win out is just one step in the right direction of their division, of winning their division and making some noise in the playoffs.
Yeah, man, it's I would love to see the Bills make a Super Bowl run. I'm just going to leave it at that. And then hey, Bengals put up 41. I know it's against the Raiders, but in the NFL,
you and your hate on the Bengals.
Hey man, I know they are back.
Yeah, I mean, it was the Raiders, right? And the Raiders
Yeah.
are they're so cold. They then hot for a second when they beat the Ravens, and then they back to being just the Raiders again. I mean, dude, the Raiders just cleaned house on their whole offensive staff. Like they
Yeah.
just fired their offensive coordinator. I think they fired their quarterback coach, and they fired somebody else. They fired 3 guys in their offensive staff, and I'm just like, damn. Like, and then Antonio Pierce said that their team is so banged up they're not even going to practice in the bye week, which I think is kind of crazy. And I don't know, man. Like the Raiders are definitely going down the wrong way. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just crazy. And then you look at the Bengals, who, you know how there's that meme of Anakin Skywalker and Padme, and they're like staying out in the field, and then,
Yeah.
right? And then you're saying Joe Burrow threw for 5 touchdowns. He's like, yeah. He goes, Jamar Chase caught a touchdown, right? And he's like, blank face. Jamar Chase caught a touchdown, right? And no, he didn't. Like everybody else did, right? And I was like, what the hell? But again, Joe Burrow, 5 touchdowns, threw for less than 200 and some yards, like 250 yards, right? Less than 250 yards, and wow, boom. Look at that, 5 touchdowns. Gesicki has literally resurrected his career in Cincinnati, which I love because he was such a beast coming out of Penn State, I believe, right? And I know Soder, somebody else can correct me on if I'm wrong on that, but like he was just an amazing tight end, and just seeing that team kind of starting to get together right now, I think is pretty cool. Raiders, as bad as they looked, the one guy who is inevitable is Brock Bowers. He still found a way to catch a touchdown. He's still getting it done, and he could come out of this tight end group of all tight ends on NFL. The unsung heroes of like Gesicki, Trey McBride, and Brock Bowers and Cade Otton are going to be like your top 5 tight ends, guys that you wouldn't even think about when you're drafting tight ends. Like, all the top big guys, they ain't doing. The only one who's actually doing anything is Mark Andrews. He just woke up, and everybody else is like kind of like falling off, right? So, dude, awesome game. Cincinnati's back. And hey, real quick, Trey Hendrickson, 4 sacks. I was like, dude, when we're going through these teams, trade candidate, a guy like if you don't want to pay him, send him away. And I was like, he's the kind of dude that I would give a 1st-round pick for. That's how good he is. Yeah. And our pass rush was non-existent for the most part. But Trey Hendrickson, hey man, 4 sacks in 1 game. Take a bow, baby.
He'd be our leader in sacks, I think, and just 1 game.
In 1 damn game.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Well, hey, Bengals head to Baltimore next week to try to get to 500. If they win that one, man, they are really back in business.
I agree.
Yeah. And then the next game, Chargers get a win, improve to 5-3 over the lowly Browns. The Browns were right back to the dumpster in this one.
Bro, the amount of hype that Jameis Winston got, like thinking that he was going to like save that team. He's going to turn around. He's going to do something with it. God, he just came back to earth so freaking fast, dude. It was so bad. And I'm a big Jameis Winston fan. Like, don't get me wrong. He has some baggage in his background. Like, I 100% know that. Okay.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is like, I just want him to do well. I just want him to like have like a good career, and just for him to come out there and play what he did. I'm like, oh my God, like really, bro? Like really? And like Nick Chubb couldn't get anything done. And hey, look at Justin Herbert. Literally like woke the hell up, man. Like that man had a freaking game. The last 2 games he's been lining it up, bro. And Chargers are back, and I'm really looking forward to seeing who the Chargers got next. I mean, they're hitting the cylinders at the right time. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. And I feel like a lot of Harbaugh teams do that, and it's his first year there.
Yeah, 100%.
It's exciting to see because I want somebody to challenge the Chiefs, man.
Yeah,
in that division. But then we had the toilet bowl that went to overtime, and the Patriots and Titans, Mason Rudolph versus Drake May.
Yeah,
man. I don't know if anyone was watching that game, and I'm sorry if they were.
It's funny you say that because like I was watching parts of that game because I had Ramondre Stevenson going in covering Lily, and I was like, I need to see some fancy points here. But at the end of the day, like I feel like even though Titans are not that good, they are they're actually starting to hit their stride a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Like with Mason Rudolph coming in there and being a veteran quarterback. Not saying he's a good quarterback, but he's a veteran quarterback. Getting the ball to Ridley, Tony Pollard really running behind his shoulder pads, really accomplishing a lot in these 2 games. And the Patriots, considered to be one of the worst teams in the NFL. Didn't look that great, but they put up a good fight. And guys like Drake May, rookie quarterback, but damn, he's getting it done, dude. Like I have to admit, like for a rookie quarterback, he doesn't look that bad. And I'm impressed with what he's been doing. And I feel like if they can just keep him protected and not let him take too many hits that kind of mess up his head or get him an injury, sky's the limit with him. I think he has a lot of good opportunities. And there was something that somebody had mentioned where they were saying like they were watching highlights of Josh Downs, wide receiver for the Colts. And like they were saying, you can't watch the highlights of Josh Downs without showing some respect to the way Drake May plays football. And I was like, wow, I didn't look at it that way. But that's a very good point. So yeah, still a shit game, but they had some great opportunities in the end.
Yeah, and I think Drake May is gonna be good. I think he's gonna develop.
They just need to fix the offensive line. That team's going to be going through a retooling for a couple of years here, I want to say. But I think they got the right coaching staff there. I just think they've lost a lot. They got to rebuild from the ground up, honestly.
Yeah. Then the Commanders went to the Meadowlands and got a win. Scary Terry only had 2 catches, but both of them went for touchdowns. Jaden Daniels, man, he just knows how to win ball games. And this Commanders team, I would like to see them run into the Lions in the playoffs. I'd like to see a Commanders Lions playoff game.
We're going to get into our game here, but let's just say the Lions they're good, but they're not like unstoppable. They're beatable. You gotta play a perfect game, and you gotta be careful with the way they play because they play dirty. We'll get into that later. But when it comes to the Commanders, man, the Commanders are an awesome football team. There was a news posting that came out saying that players on teams want to get traded to the Commanders, which is something you haven't heard of in many, many, many years. And they're playing a brand of football that is just getting the job done, plain and simple. Like their defense is making the stops they need to make, and Jaden Daniels is playing out of his mind. And even though Brian Robinson Jr. didn't play that game because of a hamstring injury, they didn't skip a beat. Like people forget that Austin Eckler, when healthy, is a top 10 running back. He's a damn good player. He just has a tendency of getting banged up a lot, right? And then they're just finding ways to win by any means necessary, and I love that. I really kind of wish the Packers would kind of go to that kind of methodology of like not trying to throw the ball all over the field and just trying to when I watch teams that play like how Brady would play, which would annoy me sometimes, but the truth is just get first downs and work your way down the field and just take the easy completions and just
that's what the Lions did to us.
The Lions did too, man. I'm just like, they didn't take deep shots. They didn't try to get 50 yards a pass. And I'm like, hey, that's great when you can get them, but when your team's not executing, you need to get the gimmies. You need to make it easy for you. Like, and they weren't. And so in that game again, when you watch Jaden Daniels, when you watch the Commanders play, and let's not take anything away from the Giants. The Giants came back and made that a game.
They did.
Daniel Jones, for being all the criticism and shit that he gets, hey, he's making some decent decisions out there. He looked pretty good. And I'm not saying like he's above a mid quarterback by any means. I'm not saying that, but in that game in particular, he looked pretty good, man. I was like, hey, man, for a lot of that grief that you got, you had that team in that game. So I'll give you credit where it's deserved. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then we had another lowly game. Saints go to Carolina. Bryce Young wins the football game. Chuba Hubbard gets to the end zone a couple times. I thought the Saints were going to get this one. But now you have two of these 2-7 teams in the NFC South.
So I'm going to say it right now. Derek Carr is a below mid quarterback. He's had moments of greatness, but for the most part, he's not a good quarterback. He is a wide receiver killer. I think Olave has suffered so many concussions because of this man alone. And then it's funny that Dennis Allen has been fired from both jobs where Derek Carr was the coach. So, Derek Carr was the quarterback. So my argument is that he's not only a wide receiver killer, but he's also a coach killer. Okay. And for not only the Saints after they came out really hot for those first 2 weeks, have been absolute garbage, right? And Carolina, for having all the crazy things that have been going on with Bryce Young, for him to have back-to-back games that he's looked pretty good in, and for him to secure this win, hey, I'm very happy for Bryce Young. I hope he can keep it up. I hope they let him keep starting. I hope he keeps improving. Yeah, the Saints are done, man. And the only thing that's sucky thing is nobody wants to become the head coach of the Saints because their cap is terrible.
Yeah.
But they've been kicking the can down the road for like 10 years, and it's all coming down now to history, right? It's now coming to you got to pay the piper, dog. And I don't know who's going to be willing to pay that. So, hey, it was still a fun game. It was Alvin Kamara still blew up the damn freaking stat sheet, right? And by the end of the day, man, like Dennis Allen honestly is a terrible head coach. He's always been a terrible head coach. And, there's just some guys that just need to be DCs. Like, I feel like him and Robert Saleh just need to stick to what they're good at and just do that. Like, Wade Phillips back in the day proved it too. When he was a head coach for the Cowboys, he was not that great. But when he was a defensive coordinator, that boy was nasty as a DC. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm just like, just gotta stick with what you do well, man. That's it.
Yeah. Then we had the Denver Broncos, who had, a decent start on the season. They're still over 500, but they traveled to Baltimore, and the Baltimore let them know that they are not legit. Yeah. And Lamar and the King were both incredibly efficient. I think Henry got his 100th career rushing touchdown in that game. But, man, the Ravens looked really good in that one.
Man, like, I don't think we can – I think Lamar might get his next MVP. He may get his third MVP. I think Derrick Henry might be right there in the voting with him. I think Baltimore's only Achilles heel right now is their defense. Like, their defense was a top-tier, number one defense last year. They didn't lose many pieces, but the coaching staff changed, right? And you've seen the difference. I think Chris Orr is a good defensive coordinator. I just think that, unfortunately – this is his first time coordinating defense, so he's gonna have some, hiccups, right? But the Ravens team is a legit team. They're probably one of the few teams in the AFC that's gonna give the Chiefs a run for their money. Derrick Henry is like Thanos. He is inevitable. He is going to get 100 yards, or he's gonna get 2 touchdowns. He's gonna eat you up, man. And Lamar, him getting Deontay Johnson just gives him another weapon to play with. And yeah, they're amazing. And I'm sorry, like Denver Broncos, I felt like have been just kind of like, I don't know, bro. Like, I feel like they've just been kind of getting by playing some teams, and they finally came up against a good team, and they got their butts kicked, right? Yeah, and their defense isn't bad, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, you could just see like what happened against the Ravens is what probably should happen for the Broncos every week. They're just an okay team right now.
Yeah. And then after that one, we almost saw the Jaguars rally back and beat the Eagles in Philadelphia.
Yep.
And I'm telling you, man, the Jaguars are better than 2-7. They're going to win a few more ball games this year. But the Eagles are also a team that's looking like the top of the class in the NFC.
Man, where do we start with this game?
Oh, Barkley's jump.
So there was so many things that happened in this game. The fact that the Eagles were up 22-0, and I thought, man, they're going to run away with it. And then Jacksonville just slowly started coming back. And I agree. They have talent on that team, bro. They have a lot of good talent. They just keep coming up on the short end of the stick when it comes to, these wins and losses, right? And, that is unfortunately the mark of a bad team. When you are in these close games, you just can't close it out. That's the difference between a good team and a bad team, right?
Yeah.
And, when it comes to Saquon Barkley and his reverse jump over someone, dude, I mean, he's already a highlight reel. For him to do that, holy crap. And then, of course, we can't even go, but Cooper DeJean, he's starting to hit his stride, and he's looking like one of the best slot corners in the league, and we could have easily had him 2 times over, and we didn't. And then we have a guy like Jordan Morgan who gets into his starting lineup because of an injury and was a cause of multiple pressures on Jordan. So, okay, don't get me started. Yeah. There's been a couple first-round picks that I wish we could have back. Lucas Van Ness for Christian Gonzalez and Cooper DeJean for Mr. Jordan Morgan. But I digress. Again, Eagles look like the playoff team that they were last year, but they're doing it. I feel like they're doing it with adversity, which is a good thing, which means that they're not just running away with games. And them to have that adversity, it makes them a better team in the long run. They're definitely going to give a Commanders a run for the money. That's going to be, I think that's going to be a really awesome game. Is the Commanders versus the Eagles? It's going to be a really good game.
Barkley, man, he's the guy that they just got to make sure they have him healthy when they get to the playoffs, because he's the type of cat that you can just lean on in a playoff game, and he can eat up yards, eat up the clock.
Yeah, like the fact that they haven't been giving him a lot of carries here and there just because, like, for whatever reason. But I agree that, like, when it comes to end of November and December, he should be getting like 20, 30 carries a game, or at least 20, 30 touches a game, because he's just a generational back, plain and simple.
Yeah.
The Giants are stupid for letting him go.
I cannot believe it. They're idiots.
Yeah. Idiots. Absolute idiots.
Yeah. We gotta definitely touch on the Bears trip to Arizona as they lose by 20 points. And one of my best friends, who's a Bears fan, he texted me. He's like, they quit, man. They straight up quit today. And so, the Bears, I can't remember who they play next week, but, in 2 weeks when we come out of the bye, that's who we play.
Yep.
Whoever the Bears play next, if, the Bears are now 4-4.
Yep.
They're 0-4 on the road. Oh, they get to host the Patriots next week. Mm-hmm. So they should win that game and then be coming into our game off of a win. But the thing is, if the Bears lose to the Patriots and they come to that game 4-5 and we can beat them and put them to 4-6, that's going to feel mighty good.
Honestly, there was a play where Caleb is scrambling to the left. DJ Moore scrambling to the left. And then it looks like Caleb got sacked, but he didn't. DJ Moore just runs off the field. Play's still going, he runs off the field. And I'm like, wait a minute. Like, what's going on here? Like, then he goes and throws to the other side of the field, an incomplete pass, right? But this team has completely given up on Matt Eberflus. They've probably given up on Caleb Williams for right now. And it doesn't look good. And even in a radio interview that DJ Moore had today, someone asked him, has Matt Eberflus lost the locker room? And DJ Moore said, I wouldn't say no. Like, double negative, right? Which is like, it always drives me crazy. But it's like, dude, like, the Bears are completely falling apart. And all I ask is that they keep Shane Waldron and Eberflus in power until we play them. And then we can be the ones that get them fired. That would be amazing. And then honestly, then like they will have the total collapse. And then, dude, I just need that win, baby. I just need that win so bad. Yeah. That was embarrassing. For them to lose the way they did against the freaking Cardinals. Boy, that's terrible, dude. Absolutely.
Yeah. And then another heartbreaker in overtime. And here out here on my end, or my neck of the woods, the Seahawks losing overtime to the Rams. Woo! The Seahawks looked like they had control of that game for a little while, and then the Rams came flying back. Dude, the Rams are such a different team when Puka and Cooper are there, man.
Dude, Puka got kicked out for supposedly throwing a punch when it really wasn't a punch. He just was trying to get the heat off of him. And then I had in a league Geno Smith and Jackson Smith and Jigba going. So I was hyped, bro. I was like, yo, overtime, let's go, man. I need all the points. I need all the yards. I'm down for all of this. Sign me up, baby. Sign me up. And no joke, like the Seahawks going for it on 4th down in overtime and not getting it was the dumbest thing they could have done.
Yeah.
Like, if I was about to kick the field goal, I'm going to kick the field goal. And even when it mattered, because who knows? Like, I feel like if you kick the field goal, now you kick the ball off. Now, Stafford has to go 70 yards instead of going, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was less for him to go. But, man, like, dude, like, Demarcus Robinson, another 2-touchdown game. Like, it's crazy, man. Like, you know what? Like, I'm a big Stafford hater. But, these clutch moments, he gets it done.
Yeah.
More often than not, he does, you know what I'm saying? So, like, respect to him.
I won't be surprised if the Rams take that division, man. The NFC West is a mess, man.
Yeah, Honestly, look at it right now. The Cardinals are leading it by 5-4. But honestly, in the past, you would see that division being just a complete hot mess, right?
Yeah.
Like you would see it like where Niners are leading it and everybody else is like, and then Rams are right there, and then everybody, and then the other two teams suck. There's parity up and down that thing. And it could be anybody's game. And if the Niners can't get, even we're getting Christian McCaffrey back, if he's not 100% healthy, right? And I'm just saying they could be in for a hurt. And like I said, it could be anybody's division, which is cool. That's different. That's parity from last year, right?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And then the Sunday night game, Vikings, man, for at halftime, I was like, oh my God, are the Colts going to take this one? It was 7-0 Colts at halftime. But Vikings got out of there 21-13. Sam Darnold had 3 touchdown passes in the second half. Jefferson racked up the yards, man.
I was impressed.
Definitely an impressive second half there by the Vikings. But man, I can't wait to play them again.
Yeah, same. I'm looking forward to playing them again, and hopefully we can, get some revenge for what happened in Lambeau. Joe Flacco, for him to be out there as a veteran and to play as poorly as did, and then for the coach to come back and say, yeah, Joe Flacco's our quarterback for the rest of the season, I think is the dumbest thing you could do. Yeah. I think that you do that to your first-round pick from last year who really hasn't gotten a fair chance. It's not really going to help his development, because if that was the case, then you shouldn't have started him from the get-go. You should have just kept him on as a backup for the whole time. Like, to take him, demote him, and then now say basically there's no chance of him getting in. I mean, how do you keep him motivated now? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like Flacco went out there and played any better. Like, if Flacco went out there and they won this game because of the way Flacco played, you can make that statement and it makes sense. But you make that statement after seeing what Flacco just did, which is really nothing. Nah, dog. No, I'm sorry. That doesn't work. I was like, Shane Steichen is way over his head right now. And the fact that, players on the team weren't even aware that Richardson had been benched until they saw it on ESPN or they saw it on social media, and that the coach hadn't even made an announcement about it. It's just like chicken shit stuff, dude. Like, if you're going to make a decision, you got to call the team in. That's the first thing you do is let the team know. The team should know before anybody else, right? After the player, the team should know. Like, what are we doing here? Like, I don't know. The Colts are basically like the Cowboys. They're basically like, they're at the knee-jerk reactions of their owner. So anytime Jerry Jones wants something, the team does it, right? It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. Same thing with the Colts. If Jim Mesri wants something, they're going to do it. Doesn't matter if it's good or bad. And dude, that division is still up for grabs. Yeah. Houston's falling off. You know what I'm saying? Like, Houston was running away with it. Now Houston's kind of like hit or miss, right? So it's like, dude, anybody can take that division. And
Houston gets the Lions. Houston hosts the Lions next week, I think.
Do they really?
Yeah.
I need CJ Stroud to wake the hell up, dog.
Absolutely.
Hopefully Nico's back.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
We're about to jump into that a little bit of that Packers game. Heath Sutter said, I'm starting to think that MLF teams playing in big games with expectations are a bad thing.
I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I see what Sutter's saying, though. He's right, because, like, in that Lions Thanksgiving game, we had no expectations. We were expecting to get blown the hell out. And then what happened? We blew them out, right? And, I can definitely get that. I just feel like when things aren't going the way they need to be going, they just start to, like, just snow, like, just what the hell is the word? Like, to snowball effect, right? And watching that game yesterday, like, it was a 24-14 game, okay?
Yeah.
The Lions have been consistently putting up 30 to 50 points a game on people. So the fact that we held them to, if you look at it, we held them to what? It was
17 offensive points.
17 offensive points. We held them to 10 points in the first half and 7 points in the second half. So that is a true testament to our defense. Secondly, I don't know how many 3-and-outs we had. Sorry, how many 3-and-outs we forced from them, but we did. Something that they don't really often happen. Again, another testament to our defense, who, from a pressure perspective, couldn't really get much pressure on Goff. But when they did, they were able to make him make mistakes, throw the ball into the ground, things like that, right?
And we were missing Jaw, too.
Yeah, that's another thing, too. Like we didn't have Ja out there, and we also didn't have Evan Williams out there. And I don't think people understand, as crazy as it sounds, how our rookie has such an impact on our defense. He does. And then Ja, you have him on the boundary. Instead, you have Keyshawn Nixon, who really does not need to be on the boundary. I'm sorry, like he's not a boundary corner. And even that first touchdown to Amon St. Brown, where Amon is motioned out, and I'm like, dude, the ball's coming to Amon. I just knew it was going to him. And Keyshawn gets shook on a double play. And I'm like, dude, like the ball's coming your way. You gotta be ready for the ball. And
Absolutely.
you paid him to be your slot corner. You paid him to be your kick returner, right? He's not getting done as kick returner for the most part. And then because you get a good run, and then you start pointing your finger into a dude's face, and you get a freaking unnecessary roughing penalty or whatever right off the bat, dude. Like, what are we doing here? You know what I'm saying? Like, so for me, like, I just feel like if you have 10 penalties on, 10 penalties that really screw you up, you have, 7 drop passes.
6 or 7, depending on what you want to consider as a drop pass, but 6 or 7 for sure.
Yep. And out of those 7, probably 5 of them were catchable.
Yeah.
And someone broke it down. Like, I think they said 4 of them turned into like a missed field goal, 1 turnover on downs, right? And a punt. I'm just saying, like, if you're not, when you play a team like the Lions, you can't be having those kinds of mistakes. You got to really push it. And that's what, for me, you have to execute. And that's what Elton Jenkins said it. He goes, the better executing team, the team that executed better won, not the better team. Hey, that's all nice and dandy, bro. But the truth of the matter is, like, you guys are a definition of execution. Like, he himself had 3 bad snaps.
Yeah.
That's literally killed 3 drives because they had to drop the ball or whatever. They had to get on the ball because they weren't good snaps, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, what'd you think? Like, watching that game, dude, how were you feeling? I was like,
every time, like, we do something, like we'd run Jacobs and we would throw a couple short passes, and I'm like, all right. Then we would the play calling would get stupid. We'd take dumb shots. There'd be a bad snap. There'd be a drop pass. There'd be a penalty. It was just like every time there was a big moment, we'd shoot ourselves in the foot. And it was just like, it happened like at the worst times. When we marched out there and went into the 2-minute drill with 58 seconds left in that weather, I turned and I looked at my wife and I was like, this isn't going to end well. It was like, 2 plays later, the dumbass pick 6. I was just like, why? What are we trying to do? There's 58 seconds left. We're starting at our 25, and the weather is awful. And Love has not been good in these situations.
No.
He did it in LA and against the Rams too. And I'm just like, I'm so like I tweeted that I think MLF. Now, while I think he's good at scheming through the week, when it comes to like game time situational coaching, he sucks. And he makes really bad play calls and makes bad decisions at really like big moments, like trying to go out there and do a 2-minute drill. It goes all the way back to kicking a field goal rather than going for it on 4th down with Aaron Rodgers.
That first drive. Right? That first drive, dude. Same thoughts, same thing. Yeah.
Right. It's like this is something that has popped up throughout his career, right? We scheme really good for certain games, and then in big moments, he just makes I think a poor decision. So yeah, I think he can still win a Super Bowl, but right now, the Green Bay Packers are a playoff caliber team, but they can beat themselves on any given Sunday because of the mistakes they can make. And so that's who they are. They could beat anyone, and they could beat themselves against anyone. So I don't know, man. I'm hoping we get healed up. The defense, I said the defense is going to be lights out after the bye week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really hoping the Packers go make a move and get an edge rusher. Bring me someone that's going to move the freaking needle right now. Whether, I don't know, whoever it is, go find someone on the edge that's going to tear things up. We need something. I don't know. We need something for this pass rush. That's my opinion.
Real quick before we jump to that, I'm gonna say something. I got something about trade deadline. I got you.
Yeah.
But like, so in that pick six play, like like Andy Herman showed it where like if and LaFleur talked about it, he goes, if it was blocked up correctly, they had Ed Reed wide open down the field.
Yeah.
Okay? But they didn't have it blocked up correctly. And then of course and I think like Tom Brady said it too. He goes, you're like he put it really crazy. You are the franchise, you are the future of this team, you are all these things. You can't throw that ball. And he's right. Second time it happened, he had the Rams, right? Jordan actually, and Nagler said this too in the press conference after the game. Jordan even said it where he's like, the first time he came back and looked and was like, yeah, you know what? Like, I can't do that. Like, I need to work on that to where I don't make that mistake where I just play for the next down. And then LaFleur's like kind of excusing him, like, hey, I like the fact that he keeps fighting, he keeps trying. Hey, that's great and dandy, but you can't keep putting the ball in harm's way. You got 10 picks, you're leading the league in picks. And bro, I'm just saying, like, the last thing I'll say is that all three losses were against potential playoff teams. And all three losses were because if you really go back and look at those games, where we made a lot of mistakes. Penalties, interceptions, fumbles, whatever you want to call it. But we definitely were shooting ourselves in the foot, right? And because of that, I'm like, yo, dog, this is why we need to go to this part about I am very much like when Michael Jordan said, fuck them kids. I am like that about our draft picks. Fuck them picks. Because at this time, you've shown Eric Stokes isn't it. You've shown Keyshawn isn't it. All right. I am trying to get Marshawn Lattimore from the Saints. I figure out a way to make that happen. I figure out the Browns lost again. Craig Newsome or Denzel Ward. I don't care. Somebody. Okay. Like even if the Saints, they're saying they're not going to do they say they're not going to be doing a whatchamacallit, a
fire sale.
Yeah, like a fire sale, right? But honestly, with the way their cap is, they'd be smart to unload some of those guys like Peter Werner. They're more their middle linebackers, or for that matter, Demario Davis. I would be all about that. Quay is a very athletic player. He has a lot of talent. He just isn't getting it done. He's just not getting it done. Eric Wilson has a good game, then a bad game. He's not consistent enough. Only person that looks like he's worth the damn is Edgerrin Cooper, and they're not giving him enough snaps. So I am trying to find a way to fix this team. If you go and make someone a draft pick right now, if you go and do a trade right now, guess what? You have an opportunity to sit here and bring him in and have a bye week to get him acclimated.
100%. The bye week couldn't have landed at a better time.
Better time, bro.
Make a freaking trade.
Just make a trade. Because like my thing is, Goody, you can't keep sitting on your fucking hands and just keep running like this same shit. Like, no, dude, it's just not working, dog. It's just not working. I'm sorry. Like, you have to make a move. You know what I'm saying? You're telling me that these teams that have these high caliber players that aren't going anywhere, they're trying to get their cap cleaned. They're not going to take a second, third, or fourth round pick, and we eat some of their salary and they eat the other half or some shit. We restructured their contract. I'm just saying, like, that trade that the Cardinals just made for Baron Browning from the Denver Broncos for a 6th round pick, that's the kind of shit we need to be doing. Like, we need to be going and grabbing these pass rushers and cornerbacks from other teams. Hell, get a guard. Get another guard, because I saw Sean Ryan get ate the hell up by Aiden McNeil, who's a good defensive tackle. But dude, like Sean Ryan not only gave up like 3 pressures, he also was responsible for 2 false start penalties, and that's your starting right guard. And then Jordan Morgan out there looking like he clueless as shit. So I'm like, dude, we need to find a way to get the right people in here. If this is a playoff, if this is a Super Bowl team, this is the time to start making those moves. This is the time to start doing what you need to do to get this team right. And I'm sorry, man. Like, going to gain Jamil Davis for our 1st round pick who got cut by the Washington. Hey, I think that's a great practice squad pickup. I think that he could come in and play middle linebacker and do a pretty decent job, right? I think that he just needs the opportunity to. But man, like, if they sit on their hands and they don't make any trades, it'll be just par for the course. It'll be the same shit Green Bay always does. But the thing is, then we shouldn't have any expectations then. Because if our team is not willing, our front office is not willing to go and make the correct moves to help supplement this team, because you know that Jair is an amazing football player, but we also know that he has a tendency of getting banged up recently, right? It's just what it is. And knowing that your starting corner has these injury issues, you have to be prepared for it. And Stokes has shown that he is not a starting corner. I'm sorry. I'm trying to unload Stokes. I'm not messing with that anymore. Lucas Van Ness, if you look at 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, all first round picks there, the only one that seems like might be worth a damn probably is going to be Devontae Wyatt. I honestly believe that he might be the only one that might come out of that whole first round class is worth something. The rest of them might not even get a second contract, dude.
Dude, Rashawn Gary is MIA.
And Clark. And we just extended both of them. And I'm just like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing, bro? Like, I'm just I love Clark. I love Gary. I'm not seeing. And I'm sorry, Rebovich. What do you do, bro? What is your job here? You had one good game against Tennessee, who everybody has blown the hell up. Since then, our pass rush has been very mediocre at best. Jason Vrabel, you just got a promotion as the passing game coordinator. Why the hell is our players dealing with so many drops? You're technically the wide receiver coach. That falls back on coaching. Fundamentals. Like, what is going on here? Why are we struggling so bad with these things?
Discipline, man.
Discipline, bro. Like,
discipline and execution. That's Dan Campbell. That's how he coaches the Lions. It's like he gets into those foundational skills. It's execution. It's discipline, and they stick to it, man. And his players have bought into it. MLF's a good schemer, man, but he doesn't rally the troops. He doesn't pump me up that much.
Cool, quick too on that. Those two plays that occurred, and there are probably more too, where the one with where Brian Branch got kicked out of the game for his head-to-head hit on Bo Melton. The reason why that was, he's been now hit with like 2 or 3 other times in 2 to 3 other games of him hitting people with the crown of his helmet, and he's been getting the unsportsmanlike, unnecessary roughness penalty. So the reason why he got kicked out was because this isn't his first infraction. He's done it in multiple games, multiple times. So they kicked his ass out this time. Then there was a play that they showed number 41 for the Detroit Lions after he brought down Jordan Love. He's literally trying to twist and break his ankle.
Yeah.
Dirty ass shit, dog. Like, this is unnecessary. You guys are already beating us. You don't need to hurt our quarterback. Like, what is that? Like, I understand Dan Campbell used to be in New Orleans when Greg Williams was there about the whole bounty gate thing and all that.
Yeah.
Bro, is that what you're teaching your players? Like, is that what you want to be really known for? Like, biting kneecaps and all this shit. Like, that's a figure of speech, but do you really mean that shit? Because that's dirty, dog. There's no need for that. There's no need to be taking my boy's leg and trying to twist it in a way where you're trying to break that shit, dog. Because my thing is like, what are we doing here? That's how you want to win? Like, that's how you want to do it. Like, hurting players. I understand football is a physical sport. It's a violent sport. I get all that. But doing that, bro, like literally trying to twist his ankle and trying to break that joint, come on, what are we doing? That's why I've lost a lot of respect for Detroit Lions. Like, I just don't have any respect. The fact the fans are like saying, "Oh, they're just crying because they lost." No, I don't care. Like, if freaking Rashawn Gary or Kenny Clark was doing that to Jared Goff's ankle, I'd be fucking pissed. I'd be talking shit. I would be like, "Yo, that's not how our Packers play." Guess what? We don't do that shit. There's no video of us trying to fucking hurt your players like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of videos you guys doing it though. This ain't the first rodeo that you guys have been caught. People say you basically were trying to take out Sam Darnold 2 weeks ago. They also talk about how you literally took out T.J. Hawkins and blew out his knee. Come on, man. And then they did the same thing against the Rams with Tyler Higbee. They just dirty ass bitches, dog. That's what they are, and that's why they don't ever win shit. Because Karma always comes back and smacks them in the fucking mouth. And I hope they get Darius Smith. They're gonna be fucking suck even more. They're gonna be spitting this shit. I'm so fucking frustrated.
Oh my god, if Z goes there.
No, I'm just good. I'm gonna be so happy. I'm like, yeah, y'all gonna get a malcontent on your team. That's a great idea. Go for it. Dirty ass bitch on your team. I don't give a fuck. I'm just like thinking about that play infuriates me more and more every time I see it. It's just completely unnecessary. I mean, you already know he's hurt. Like, he's hurt.
Yeah.
Like, the days of Julius Peppers telling his players, "Hey, Rodgers is in there. He has a broken collarbone. Don't go extra on him. Just if you hit him and get him down, but don't hurt the dude." Telling his players to do that, to show respect to that dude, that shit's gone, and they don't have that in Detroit, dog. They're a bunch of dirty ass fucking bitches, dude. I'm just so sick of it, bro. I'm pissed right now about just even thinking about it. So yeah, so for trade deadline, dude, I get me a beast, dog. Give me someone like that. Just give me a monster, dude. I want a monster. I want Lattimore. I want Demario Davis. Give me Myles Garrett. I don't give a damn. Just give me somebody, man.
Something that moves the needle, man,
because you already know that you're not going to win the division now. So now you got to make the playoffs. I mean, you got to keep pace and you will be possibly the third worst team in your division. Because if the Vikings keep going the way they're going, I don't see them slowing down. Darnold obviously he was throwing picks, right? Like he's clearly like not the answer to that, but they're still getting it done because in spite of him, right?
Yeah.
Because he has a lot of good talent on that team. The truth is, though, if we're gonna be the third team in this division, then our record needs to be where it needs to be. It needs to be in the top 7, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just telling you, bro. Goody not making a move right now it might be indicative of what he thinks about the future of the team. And he did this shit last year too, trading away Russell Douglas, which now you're looking at it looks like a dumbass trade, right? Yeah, it did get us a third round pick, and we were able to do something with that. But I'm just saying, like, wouldn't us having Russell Douglas right now be so much better than using that third round pick in a trade to move up somewhere or move down somewhere? I don't know, man. I would trade for Russell Douglas and get him back for all I care. Shit, man. I'm just saying, like, we just need to make a move, man. Just need to make a move.
And we got, I don't know, like 12 hours or 16 hours or something like that until the deadline. So we will see. Hey, when we come out of that bye week, we go to Chicago.
Yep.
So we're 2 weeks away from that. Any thoughts there about that game? I feel honestly, it kind of like being 0-2 now in the division. It kind of feels like a must-win game.
Yes, 100% does. Yes.
Yeah, Bears games, it's a must-win all the time. We gotta beat them.
It doesn't matter what we are as a record. We always try to go 2-0 against the Bears. It's just the way it is. You know what I'm saying? And for the most part, we've had their number. I'm kind of hoping that they find a way. They have a way to like kind of. Hopefully the Bears are kind of on their downward slope going into that game because you know what I'm saying they've really given up. They've basically given up the will to even play football for that team right now, right? And so that is a game that we need to win, and I just hope to God that we don't really play down to our competition. Honestly,
absolutely. I hope we can go down there and we can open a can. I hope to see a healthy Love. Yep. I hope to see this offense find a rhythm and find an identity. And then the defense, right? I'm hoping that we're seeing our new playmaker out there that we get here before the deadline on that defense in Chicago.
Yeah, but 100%.
That's how I'm feeling, man. But hey, I want to be respectful of everyone's time and get any last words there for this week or for the Packers.
I think for me, I think multiple influencers, multiple Packer fans have said it. This time last year, we were 3-6. This year, we're 6-3. So let's just look at the silver lining and let's look at where we are as a team. Panic button does not need to be pushed. A lot of ball game left, as Aaron Nick would say it. And we just really just need to come out of this bye week hitting on all cylinders. And you know what? Like, just trust in this coaching staff because they were able to figure it out last year. That's that final 8-game stretch. Yeah. And we're in that same stretch again. So let's just hope that they can find that magic in a bottle again. That's all I can say because at this point, that's all we can really look up for. Like, if you look at the way this game worked out, we hit rock bottom again, and the only way was up. And the same shit happened last year too.
Yeah, I just got to hope maybe Rashawn Gary turns it on in the second half. Like, think about if we found somebody to help the edge a little bit, and then Rashawn Gary came back alive or something in the second half of the season. That's all it could take to really make this defense incredibly dangerous is getting a consistent pass rush going. If the playoffs started today, we would go to Washington, D.C. and play the Commanders. And you know what? I like our odds on that one, man. We were the 7th seed last year. I'm not afraid of anyone in the NFC. I'm not afraid of anyone in the AFC either. I know this Packers team can punch up. We got to stop playing at the lower level of lower competition in some games, and we got to execute, stay disciplined. I think we'll get it, man. I think we're going to be good coming out of this bye week.
I hope so. I'm hoping. I'm going to keep your positive reinforcement here.
Yeah, man. We will be back next week, even though it's a bye week. We'll come back and talk. We'll talk about that trade deadline if it happened. We'll be reviewing the Bears, and I think we will, or previewing the Bears, and then I think we might have a guest come come on and join us for bye week as well.
Hell yeah, I'm down with it.
All right, we'll see you next week. Thanks for stopping by. Go check out Tundra Town Clothing Company, and as always, go Pack, go.
Go Pack, baby.